Ho, ho, ho. Hi, welcome to the show. Listen, and don't you worry about it. We've had a lot of letters about you. Well, here we are back for another series of The Whale Show. Tonight, we're going to do the whole thing inside the camper van. No, it's a joke, really. It's a joke. What we're going to do is go through to the studio. But this is interesting, isn't it? A camper van here welded to the side of the TV studios. I thought it was pretty unusual. Pretty good. Makeup okay? Everything's all right? We got a few friends in here. Well, now, listen. What's this over here? Look. Look. Boy. Listen. Now. Quiet. Okay, quiet. Admire me for one moment. And can we say hello to everybody in TVS land? And this is the first time they have ever seen this show. And so it's going to be a little shock to the system. So just stay with it, okay? Stay with it. Tonight, amongst the merriment and the mirth tonight, we're going to have a look at how people get on who don't have a place to live. That's the serious part of the show. We're doing that a little bit later on. But for those people who've never seen it before, we have a few friends in the studio. We're coming to you live from St John's Wood in London, from a converted... Hey, quiet! Just one word, just one word. Listen, look at the monitors, see yourselves on TV, get it out of your system. Now, quiet. Let me tell you what we're doing tonight. First of all, welcome, as I said, to TVS. Now, part of the show, we want you to phone in. The number is coming up on your screen. There it is. Okay, you see it? We want you to ring that. It's not a London number. That's the number at Yorkshire Television. 0532 46 1000. You want to talk? Tell me how wonderful I am. Or if you want to talk maybe about the problem of living on the street. Here in London, like most big cities in the country, people are living on the streets, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. And we've got some people up here, I think, of course, who've sent letters. You all wrote letters, didn't you, to come to the show tonight? We had an enormous response to that. Thank you very much indeed. And some people wrote some very funny, if not stupid, ridiculous and silly letters. Some of them are in there. Do you like the new Play School set, by the way? No! Yeah. We're going to make things with used condoms later. Now, is Mike Butcher here tonight? Mike, where are you, Mike? Oh, gormless looking. Right, okay. Let me tell you, Mike wrote to us. This is Mike over here. He says he videos the show. He doesn't like the way that I always have a go at those people who do this. The problem, of course, is it doesn't show up on the ratings. You know, I don't want all that sort of stuff. And he said the tickets were for his video to come and not really him. Did you bring the video?
No, but I switched it on for you.
You did?
Oh,
good.
Yes.
Right.
Well done.
Shut up now. Listen, Sean Villiers, are you here, Sean?
Sean O'Brien.
No, well, shut your mouth. I didn't say Sean. Russell Lawrence is here. Is Russell Lawrence here? You're what? Oh, Russell, baby, how are you? Lovely to see you here. Now, Russell's letter is a really good one. Russell's is a good one. Russell, who wrote his request for tickets on a tatty page pulled from his Filofax, eh? We've got a little yuppie here. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
Good. All right, cheap bastard. Now, is Mr. N.J. Stephen and Chums, who are from Harley Street, here? Where are you? Isn't it funny how we got you all up here on stage without you even knowing? Listen to this letter. You're a big boy, aren't you? He says they are all masochistic, the people who watch this program, and that's why they wanted tickets. They also implied that the show was cheap and enclosed a stamp to cover the cost. And he lives in Harley Street. Or have you just got a very bad sexual problem you don't want to talk to us about? R.A. Parkhurst and friends on day release. Get those over here. These are engineers from the BBC. All right? Engineers from the BBC who are on day release. They are in charge of quality control, and they watch the programme. So that tells you something about it. Thank you very much indeed. And what about two guys who went to a wedding recently, a very nice formal wedding, and they chose the really very fashionable wear. Look at this. There we are. Very nice and... Oh, they're here as well. They're over here. Give them a round of applause for looking absolutely ridiculous. Good. Right. I suppose we should take some phone calls now. It would be nice to take some phone calls, don't you think? Can we get some phone calls on? Is that what we're doing? We got live music for you tonight. No video. Cecil, are you there? Cecil, talk to me.
Hello, James.
Okay, we got some. Ah, girls, come here. Look. This is the fabulous Singlettes. Come and say hello to them.
Hi.
Great. Come up here. Yeah.
Special for you here. We've got a few phone calls. Here's your little list.
Okay.
There.
Can I take that?
Yeah,
can I do that? Could you sit down?
Yeah.
Lovely to see you.
Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, make yourselves comfortable. You're all comfortable?
Can I just shift your...
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll go down here. It's only my show. Yeah, have some coffee. Have some coffee. Catherine, hello from Aviemore. Say hello to Catherine. Hello, Catherine.
Good night, Catherine.
How are you, Catherine?
Your youngest viewer here who would like to speak to you.
A young viewer, Catherine.
Yes, probably your youngest viewer. He's 4.5 years old and watches you regularly.
Well, Catherine,
Here he is.
Catherine, where is it?
Hi.
And Catherine, this programme is not suitable for 4-year-olds. You put her or him or it to bed, for goodness sake.
What's he doing up at
Ian
the
from Staffordshire. What should he...
Exactly.
It's
It's not being very responsible, Catherine.
Thank you.
Put that child to bed.
Thank you. That's disgusting,
down.
isn't it? Yeah. Ian.
Happy New Year's, James.
How are you, Ian?
Happy New Year, James.
Happy New Year to you. Now get on
Good
to it.
Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Ian. Now get on with it.
Now listen, I want to know if you got 2 tickets.
2 what?
2 tickets.
2 tickets?
For Man United against Paris this Sunday.
I thought you said 2 titties. OK, right.
he said 2
Andrew
titties.
from
6,
Manchester. Really? Hello, Andrew.
James,
Yes, Andrew.
I'd like to know if you celebrated New Year or Christmas.
Did I celebrate New Year or Christmas?
Yeah.
Do you have a speech problem? No, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Do you have a speech problem?
No.
I think you have a brain problem then. OK, that's enough of that. Right, girls, do you want to get ready for the bit now? I mean, I'm sorry, we'll talk later. Yeah. I've got 3 whalettes instead of 1 tonight. These girls are more sexist than I ever dreamt of being. Now, can I just remind you that this is a live show, and as you know, look at the shirt. Dig the shirt. That's nice. OK, right. Just one moment, fellas. One moment, because I'm taking part in this as well. You want me to sing a song. You've all wanted me to sing. Keep the phone calls coming in. And the fabulous Singlettes are now going to do a song that was the biggest selling... Let me get my earpiece in. The biggest selling song for an all-female group in the history of pop music. Am I right? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get into the mood. The fabulous Singlettes.
Is she really going out with him?
I don't know. There she is. Let's ask her. Hey, Naomi, is that James's ring you're wearing?
Uh-huh.
Jeez, must be great riding on him. Is he picking you up after the show tonight? By the way, where'd you meet him?
I met him at the candy store. He turned around and smiled at me. Do you get the picture?
Yeah. That's when I fell for the leader of the pack.
My folks are always putting him down.
Down, down.
They said he came from the wrong side of town.
What you mean? They say that he came from the wrong side of town.
They said that he was bad, that I knew he was sad. That's why I fell for the leader of the pack. One day my dad said, find someone new.
New.
So I had to tell my Jimmy we're through.
What you mean when you say that you better go find somebody new?
He stood there and asked me why, but all I could do was cry. I'm sorry, I heard the leader of
with a smile, and he kissed me. Tears will be slow. I'll never. He's not dead. Stop and stand. I've had the tears, but I don't care. Leader of the pack. He's gone, leader of the pack, and he's gone, leader of the pack, and now he's gone. Kiss him on. And he's gone. Leader of the ow, he's not dead. Leader of the pack, and
The James Whale Radio Show.
You were going to be here. Are we back? Good. Yeah, we're back on. Right, hello, welcome back. I was a bit embarrassed, actually, about that bit, because it showed, and you'll know all about this, Clive Soley here, who is the shadow spokesman on housing, right? Because all the parliamentarians have... I'm knackered still after that. You can't show the hairy gap, can you? You know, the hairy bit...
No, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not bad, though.
No, yeah, okay.
I've painted it all the way up.
Now, listen, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming. I don't know what you've let yourselves in for, but here we go. I would like people to have a little look at this. Everybody talks... Where are we? Camera 3. Everybody talks about people who are on the streets at Christmas, and then after Christmas, the hostels have to clear them out, people are back on the streets. So we went round to talk to some of the people who now have started 1990 like this.
Whaley goes to town.
Well, here we are outside probably the best-known council house in the country. Well, I must say it's looking lovely. She's made an effort for this Christmas, and who can say what the new year holds? But for a number of people living not more than 500 yards from here, it's an entirely different story. This is Mick Carroll from St Mungo's Housing. Now, Mick, you said we were going to come to Lincoln's Inn Field, see some people who unfortunately don't have anywhere to live. I mean, this beautiful Regency housing here, all the legal Eagles offices. We're not in the right place here, surely.
Well, you'd be surprised, but this is the place where people actually have had the right to sleep for several centuries. But
They have the right to sleep here?
They have, indeed, and the police don't move them on. But that has meant that in the last few years, now maybe 100 people or more are sleeping here. In the past, it used to be an odd few eccentric, strange people who came down to London and ended up on the floor. But now the numbers are growing all the time.
Now, you actually, St Mungo's Housing doesn't offer places to anybody who's on the street. You have a very limited number of places,
Well,
don't
that's
you?
right. We would take anybody in. We don't have any exclusion criteria or anything like that, but we turn 3,000 away every year just for the simple fact that we're full.
OK, now, just one point. I don't want anybody thinking who's watching this show tonight that it's a nice idea to come here and live on the street. Don't get the idea that because Mick said, well, you have a legal right to live here, it's, well, we'll go down to London and live here, no rent.
The attraction of this place is that they're not going to be moved on, that people are not going to come around and spray them with water hoses at 4 o'clock in the morning to get the place ready for the traffic of the day.
But it's not nice.
No, it's terrible, it's dreadful, I mean, it's awful.
It's bloody freezing tonight as well. Let's go and have a look. People coming back to this or not?
Yeah, later on tonight, people probably bedding down.
Take away curry too. We don't want to disturb too many people. Well, we're going to come over here and talk to the guys over here.
They're all waiting.
You're all waiting, are you?
Yeah, they're all waiting.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, not too bad.
How long have you been sleeping here?
16 years.
16 years?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I like it.
You do like it?
No, I don't like it in that sense, but I can't stand hostels.
You can't stand houses?
Hostels.
Hostels?
Yeah.
You come from where, Glasgow?
Claybank.
Clydebank, yeah? Where have you come from?
I come from Cornwall.
From Cornwall? Yeah? I mean, you don't live here out of choice, though, surely?
I do now, because I was evicted from the council flats.
Yeah? And what happens if you want to go to the bog in the middle of the night?
Well, there's plenty of business.
46 1000. James Whale.
OK, that looked quite fun, and people seem to be having a good time there. Don't get the idea that it is entertaining to live in that situation. It certainly isn't. Also with us tonight in the studio is Des Stockley. Now, Des is one of the authors of The Faces of Homelessness in London, which is an interim report to the Salvation Army, and it's a big problem. We tried very hard. For the last week, people have been trying to get somebody to come on and talk to us from the government. Now, I know that the Minister has gone on to other things, but, you know, the country carries on, and these are public servants who are employed there to look after things for us. And I'm a little annoyed that we couldn't get anybody even to send us some kind of reply. All right? I hope it's going to come to your attention. Now, Clive, first of all, is there anything that anybody could do? I mean, people were still sleeping on the street when the Labour Party, if anybody can remember that far back, were in power.
Yes, but there's a difference. There is a big, big difference. I mean, I was a probation officer in the King's Cross area before in 1979, most difficult area in the country for homelessness. I could always get a person, particularly young people, a roof over their head at night, unless they were violent or drunk. The big difference, which really came about in the middle 1980s, about 83 to 85, is that people without problems couldn't get anywhere to stay. And the real reason for it, there's a number of reasons, but the core reason, I would say, is the drying up of affordable accommodation. 1.25 million less homes available for rent than there were in 1979, and that means everybody gets squeezed.
But actually, people will say in the know, nobody should be sleeping on the street. There should be a place for everybody. Des, you spent 18 months on the street?
Yep.
What was it like?
You made the best of it. It's pretty lousy circumstances, but in the end you have to make sure that the circumstances don't conquer you.
But you could always have gone home, so you didn't actually have the real feeling of despair.
No, I couldn't.
You weren't really on the street? You went on the street for the report?
No, I was on the street, yes. I lost my home.
How?
A variety of reasons. I had been unemployed for a long time. I got into debt, got into a little bit of trouble with in the courts, and the lease ran out. And suddenly all these things came at the same time, and I found myself literally on the street.
But surely, if you go along to the DHSS, or even to a hospital maybe, or to a local MP, and say, look, I have nowhere to sleep tonight, aren't they legally bound to get you somewhere to stay? Isn't that right?
No, not anymore. No. There's certain categories who the local authority has to house. People with young children, disabled people, people who've recently come out of an institution like a psychiatric hospital or a prison or an ordinary hospital for that matter. But most single people just aren't covered at all, and many couples, of course, aren't covered either. OK, we're going to come back and talk some more in a few moments. We're just going to take a break. Before we do that, let me remind you, if you have any experience of sleeping on the street, we'd like to hear from you. Give us a call, 0532 46 1000. And there are some people actually in the audience tonight who we met and talked to on Wednesday when we were out filming. And after the break, you'll see not such a happy band of people who tonight, at this time, are sleeping rough on the streets of London. We're back in a couple of moments. Don't go away.
To town.
It's very, very strange that round the corner from such a prestigious address as the Savoy, we should find people sleeping on the street now.
Yeah.
Is this new?
It's fairly new. It's something that's gone on over the last 2 years or so. It's got worse during that time. But the last 10 years have sort of set the scene for this situation. About 10 years ago, there were 4,300 more hostel beds in central London than there are now. They were closed down with the best will in the world to improve things, but they were never replaced.
These are mostly young people as well around this area.
That's right, yeah. They hang around here. It's the bright lights of the big city. The streets are paved with gold, you know.
I left there when I was 16, and I've been travelling about Birmingham, Dudley, Worcester, Portsmouth, and I came up here. I met up with the lads, and they look after me, like parents to me.
You haven't given up, though? You don't see this as the rest of your life?
No, 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 no. I've been in 1 or 2 hostels around here, but I'm not being funny, around here they're too rough.
He can't sit in a doorway like this with just a shirt on.
No, that's right. I mean, we've got clothing up in the hostels. We could get hold of some of that and get it down here.
Yeah?
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, do you stay here all night in this doorway?
So, if I'm not in here, I'll be in the top shop doorway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to get hypothermia, though. Just, I mean, you got a couple of cardboard boxes here.
Just to lay on there.
Yeah? You can't sleep out here all night in just a shirt. But you've done this for a few nights, you reckon?
I've done it for a few nights.
Yeah?
It's quite difficult. You don't get much sleep.
All right, we'll see if we can get something
we'll
sit down. All right, okay.
You can be here.
I'll be here. If not, I'll be next door.
Okay.
What are you doing down here on the streets of London?
Well, I came down because my mum and dad died about 3.5 years ago, and I've been down since then, you know.
You haven't been sleeping on the street since then, have you? Why?
The government couldn't offer us anything better, you know. They were just moving us from hostel to hostel, B&B to B&B, and that was it.
How old are you?
Me, 20. Just turned 20 last September.
You share this doorway together?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where do you come from?
I'm Irish.
You're Irish? There's no way to carry on, is it? I mean...
No, it's not.
Who do you blame for it?
Myself.
Why?
Because there's no reason why we should be here. There's no reason why we shouldn't.
But you can't get a job, presumably?
Yeah, we can't get a job, and it's nobody's fault we're here. We just ended up this way.
Yeah, but you can't get out of it, can you? That's the problem.
It's hard to get out of. It's very easy to get into, but very hard to get out of.
You don't drink. You don't seem to drink anyway, you know?
Can't afford to. No, we don't drink. Just try and get enough money to tie the days over.
So when Maggie brought in this new ruling,
that's what it was, yeah.
you were left no money, no place to live.
That's right, exactly.
You're on the Strand now?
That's right. This is where I sleep. This is my bed.
It's your home?
This is my home, yeah. This is what I've got.
How do you fill your days in? How do you fill your days in?
Try and make some money for some food, man.
Yeah.
Go to the centre and that, take my clothes washed. Try and look a bit respectable and that. Try and be like everyone else.
Are you lonely? Do you ever get, I mean, I'm seeing some of these pillocky
people. I get it all the time,
Yeah?
I get slaggings. Yeah? I don't get off your bloody ass and get a job. People don't realise the situation.
Yeah?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, do people ever come and offer any help or not?
You get the odd one or two, like.
Yeah.
Helps you out with a couple of pence here and there. You know?
It's not that you're lazy and that you're a bum and you're rather...
Not that I'm lazy and I'm not a bum either, like, you know. I'm willing to work, but as I say, it's hard, like, catch-22. You can't get somewhere to stay if you've not got a job. You can't get a job if you've not got nowhere to stay.
Do your family know you're in this situation?
No, my family doesn't. I don't want them to either.
What happens if they knew you were in this situation? Would they come down and look for you? I mean, obviously you come from Scotland.
Well, I've got a difficult background to it.
Yeah.
Problems and that when I was younger, you know. I don't think they'd really... I don't know, I think they would care, but not to an extent where they'd come hunting for me, you know.
Yeah. Could you do a job? What sort of job could you do?
I've got experience in electronics and brickwork, experience labouring and that. I've done a few things like packing, warehouse work and that. I'm not lazy.
That was James. Now, there are people like James, not only here in the capital of the country, but in every major city in this country. And I'm sure that as Margaret Thatcher and the government of the day are becoming more caring and more concerned, they may not have known about this problem. So now we've brought it to their attention and brought it to your attention as well. There must be something that can be done. Because I don't believe that everybody living rough on the streets on a cold winter's night like this is doing it because they're lazy or because they can't be bothered to do anything else. You think about it sitting at home in your warm living room or bedroom or wherever you're watching the show. Would you like to be sleeping rough on the street tonight? Think about it. Now, hi, it's rather cute, that camera up there, isn't it? Now, a couple of the people we met on the streets yesterday are sitting here in the audience, and this young lad here, whose name I've forgotten, you remind me. Dave, who was in the... Which paper were you in? You showed me the cutting.
The Sunday Times.
The Sunday Times. Now, Dave has been on the streets for how long?
About 3.5 months this time.
3.5 months. Now, I must put it to you, Dave, that you're perfectly well-dressed, you're clean, you're not drunk, you're not on drugs, that you could quite easily go along to a bed and breakfast place and get yourself a roof over your head if you wanted to.
Yeah, but if you go to one of these bed and breakfast places, the only ones we can afford are the cheap ones, and you don't know what you're getting into then.
So are you saying you'd rather sleep in a doorway on the Strand?
I wouldn't rather sleep in a doorway, but I mean, it's the same with some of the hostels. There's a lot of guys in there that are drunk, on drugs, and you don't know what's going to happen to you.
So you're saying you're quite frightened to be in some of the hostels?
Well, not frightened, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in some situations that just by walking down the street, I've got an iron bar across the nose, the wrong time in the wrong place.
OK, let's go back over to Clive for a few moments. Clive, I mean, is there anything that anybody can do of any help? These guys are on the street. I can understand not wanting to go and sleep in a hostel. Some of them are disgusting, dirty, filthy places that stink of urine. You might as well sleep in a public toilet.
There's two things that ought to be done straight away. First of all, local authorities should be told they can use what's called their capital receipts. That's the money they get from selling council houses.
Yeah.
And that's about £6 billion sitting in the banks doing nothing at the moment to provide low-cost accommodation, affordable rented property.
But that won't do anything tomorrow. That won't do anything for these guys on the street now.
It will link it up to something which I'm going to say, the second bit, which does.
Yeah.
You actually say, right, let's do leaseback schemes with that money. Now, what's a leaseback scheme? A lot of privately owned properties where landlords aren't prepared to let it for all sorts of complicated financial reasons. But if they have a deal with a local authority or a housing association that says, right, you take people in, we do up the property, we guarantee to take that person on after a period of time, but right now you take people in there and we pay for that with our capital receipt. That actually brings into use a lot of empty private property where landlords would quite like to use it. And
why do you think the government of the day aren't doing it?
They began to move on it actually when Chris Patton took over because they got worried about some of the things both myself and
he
people
heard he
like
might
you
have
were
to come
saying.
on this show, so
that's right.
He packed in.
Well,
there
was a lot of worry about the general pressure growing on this issue, and that's why I'm pleased you're doing shows like this. Got to keep the pressure up
because it's not
because it can be solved.
The government don't want this. It's embarrassing to any government, isn't it? I would have thought.
Up to a point, but do remember how all this started in the early 1980s and the late 1970s. All these stories in the Mail and the Sun about the Costa del Dole. They pick one case where the person's ripping off the system and suddenly everybody's a beggar or a scrounger or whatever. And we've got to get away from that sort of thinking. It's not like that.
Let me go quickly to Des. Now, Des, you spent 18 months on the street. There does seem to be, when you're talking to people, the guy in the shirt, just the shirt. Now, he was sitting just in a shirt in a doorway, and it was bloody freezing on Wednesday night out there. People were wandering up and down the Strand. They'd been to the theatre in their fine clothes and everything else, just sort of kicking the guys out of the way. Now, they can't want to do that.
Yeah.
But he'd come from a psychiatric home, I think. How many people are on the streets from psychiatric homes?
It's very difficult to say. Most of the people, in my experience, are ordinary people having low-paid jobs. But what happens is that some people are released from psychiatric institutions. They go to a hostel which isn't suitable for them. That, in fact, increases the strain on people who might go there for other times. It's not very nice living
Presumably, once you've been on the street for a few months, though, you're not in any fit condition. I mean, these guys are keeping themselves quite well here, but you're not in any condition to go for jobs or for job interviews or to actually...
Well, I think there's one thing which has to be said. There's many people on the street who actually fight to retain their dignity, their self-respect and their health. And they do, in fact, try to work. They do try and keep themselves clean and decent. In fact, I would be quite hard and say there's no real excuse not to keep yourself clean on the street. And the people who are hardest...
Do you agree with that? Yeah?
Definitely.
I mean, let me just get one last reply to this. I've got to find this. If you wanted to go tomorrow or tonight and get a roof over your head, you could you do it, do you think?
Yeah.
You could do it, but you don't like the alternative or the sort of place you could get?
Well, like I said, the hostels nowadays, you know, all the drunks are in there and you just don't know what you're going into. It's...
Yeah. Now, Mick over here from St Mungo's, I wasn't going to talk to him on this, but Mick came out filming with us. Is this true? Are some of the hostels really
some
worse?
Some places are really quite dreadful, certainly.
Why can't your hostel give these two guys a roof tonight?
Well, because we're not of that kind, and we turn 3,000 people away every year because we're full.
So if these guys come and knock on the door, you can't...
No can do. The inn is full. It's full all the time.
OK, we're going to leave it there for a moment. Let's take some calls. Luke from High Wycombe. Hi, Luke. Hi, Luke. Luke.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Where are you? Hi, Wickham, aren't you? Okay, a little confused.
What I wanted to know, right, was why do all the homeless beggars you see about beg off you, then spend all the money on drinks?
Luke, slowly. Why do all the...
Why do all the homeless beggars you see beg off you and then spend all the money on drinks? They can spend it on something more practical.
Have you been watching the programme, Luke?
Yeah, I have.
Well, go away and use your brain. Right, Barry from... Because I think that was answered in the film. Barry from Brighton. Hello, Barry.
Hello there.
Yes, Barry, hi.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all, yeah?
I can hear you, yeah?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just about to be evicted through illness.
You what?
I'm just about to be evicted through illness.
Okay.
And it just seems that...
When you say illness, Barry, what sort of illness? Have you got some sort of incurable sexual disease or what?
I'm HIV positive.
Okay. So I was on the mark, really, wasn't I? They found... Yeah, because you got AIDS, they're going to kick you out into the street.
No, not at all. They just think that you're slightly dirty.
Yeah. You won't go onto the street, presumably?
No, I'm looking to convert a transit van to living.
That is sick. That shows that the society's got some very, very strange values, doesn't it?
Well, it's either that or bed and breakfast.
Yeah. And you don't want to go into bed and breakfast?
Definitely not.
OK, thanks, Barry. Interesting thing, Clive, is that a lot of people don't seem to like this bed and breakfast accommodation. Why?
I don't blame them. I mean, have you tried living in bed and breakfast for a long time? It's not exactly a home, is it? I mean, it's all right for a week's holiday at the seaside. Can I just say for that guy, I mean, he may be eligible for help with the local authority. It depends very much on where he is.
Who should he get in touch with?
He ought to go and see the local authority, either the councillor or the emergency housing thing, and talk it through with him. I'm not guaranteeing it, because each local authority interprets the rules differently.
Well, let's hope the ones in Brighton have got their act together. Let me talk to Wendy from Letchworth. Wendy, hi.
Hello.
Hello, Wendy.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I was made homeless by my parents. My boyfriend at the time raped me, and my parents didn't believe me, and they chucked me out. I was 15.
How old are you now?
I'm 19.
And are you living rough now?
No, fortunately I found somebody else. He's taken me in and I'm all right.
Yeah. Tell me what it was like when you first were thrown out. I can't understand how parents can do it. Well, on one hand, I can. You know, I have kids. I know how they can feel like that sometimes, but I wonder actually how people can do that. And are you back with your parents now? Are you talking to them again?
We're on talking terms now. When they first threw me out, they didn't believe what I told them, and I was left on the streets. I doffed with friends down again, but mostly on my own until I went to hospital. Then I was in hospitals.
Well, let's hope things improve for you in 1990. Thank you, Wendy. We'll take some more calls a little bit later on, and hopefully you're going to stay with us, aren't you? We get some calls on that, and we'll talk to you. We're going to lighten the load, as they say, a little bit now, because, ever since they roughed me up earlier on in the programme, I've been totally knackered. Get them up? Is that OK? You got everything adjusted?
Yeah.
You really are quite disgusting. Do you know, you are more disgusting than any women I've ever met.
No, we're Australian.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. Oh, by the way, where's my camera? Is it OK? Can I just say, next week's show we're doing dreams. We haven't finished yet. We've got some excitement coming for you tonight. But next week we're doing dreams. And if you have any really weird dreams like these girls have, or after you've seen them, will you write? We'll give you the address later. Write and tell us about your dreams, and we'll analyse them live on the TV next week. Ladies and gentlemen, what?
We're just a bad dream.
You're just what?
We're just a bad dream.
Is it? I think that's lovely. I
it's
like that.
natural.
Is it? I know it's natural. I was wondering if I could cut some off. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Singlettes.
When you left me all alone at the record hop, told me you were going out for a soda pop. You were gone for quite a while, half an hour or more. You came back a middleman, this is what I saw. Lipstick on a man. Were you kissing my best friend? Guess the answer's yes. Lipstick on your collar, told a tale on you. Lipstick on your collar, said you were untrue. Bet your bottom dollar, you and I are through. 'Cause lipstick on your collar, told a tale on you. Oh, told a tale on you. Oh, told a tale on you. Ooh, told a tale on you.
Hi, welcome back. Now, listen, apart from taking your phone calls, thank you for all the cards and the Christmas cards and things. Every week, for those of you who've never seen the show before, we have a mail spot. You saw some of the people who'd written in. We took the piss out of in the audience. But here's some other letters. If you'd like to write any comments on the show, any things you'd like to say, then please get in touch. The Singlettes said they loved everybody here and they look forward to seeing you again. They were good, weren't they? Did you enjoy that? I thought they were good, yep. Now, hang on. Philip Booth in Sheffield gets our mail off to a brilliant start when he says, "Dear James," and that is a good way to start. "What a marvellous hour of television. What an incredible, intelligent, instructive 60 minutes of sheer delight. What a superior 3,600 seconds of wisdom, wit and wonderment. Yes, Survival is a superb programme." J.G. Morris from Newcastle comments on the role reversal programme. "How far does this role reversal go," he says. "When World War III breaks out," that's entertaining to think about, isn't it? "Will the husband carry on staying home with the kids while the wife goes off to die? Or will they revert to traditional sexual roles in the event of war? Who knows?" I French from London W1 says, "Don't be surprised if you become the target of the inflatable doll liberation front." Camera over there, please, for a few moments. Can we go over there? "Millions now expect you to continue crusading for these poor, unfortunate creatures. Nobody thinks about them and nobody helps to send money for them." And from Martin Daly, up against a bar in Charing Cross Road, who continues this theme, ladies and gentlemen. He says, "Would you please tell us how to send funds to the inflatable doll appeal? We'd like to make a collection in our local. Just send them to me at Yorkshire Television in Leeds and that'll be okay." Can we put the address up? Here's the address if you'd like to send in your thoughts on the your thoughts on the programme. Send them to this address and we'll get them as soon as we can. What were you going to say? Oh, yeah, calls. And don't forget, tell us about your dreams as well. Calls. Let's go to some more calls. Jane from Birmingham. Hello, Jane. Janie.
Hello.
Yeah, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Just, Jane, speak to me. Speak to me. You're somewhere up there.
Sorry, I wanted to speak to you about the programme that you've just done about the homeless people.
Yeah.
And especially about the part where you were trying to find some clothing for the gentleman with the shirt on.
Right.
If you didn't have a gentleman with you that was going to get him some sort of clothing, what would have happened to him?
Well, we would have. I mean, obviously, if we were there, we would have got him some clothing. Mick did go back.
There,
Sorry?
but if you weren't there, what would have happened to him?
That's an interesting point, actually, Jane. I'll tell you what sometimes happens to these kids who are on the street in the Strand, OK? The so-called yuppie element, you know the ones, the sophisticated designer label suits, all that sort of stuff,
right,
walk up and down the street. And occasionally, and this is a fact, occasionally they urinate on them for fun, or they spray champagne on them. I'm not saying that would have happened, but that's the kind of mentality of some of the so-called intelligentsia in society today. All right, Jane? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jane. Pete from Cambridge. Hi, Pete.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm James.
All right. Go on.
James, I'm watching your programme.
Good. Right, Andrew from Sheffield. That's nice. That's nice. Now, Andrew from Sheffield, hello.
Hello, I'd like to talk about squatters and the law on squatters' rights.
Yeah? Are you a squatter?
No, but I have a friend who is one. He's called Haggis, and he's a fat cunt.
Oh, that's not very nice. Very intelligent, very intelligent. I see you've mastered the 3-letter words, perhaps next week the 4-letter words, OK? It looks like Gino from Tamworth. Hello, Gino. Gino? No? Annie, I can't read the bloody writing on that. Graham from Epsom in Surrey. Hello, Graham.
Hello, James.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You?
No, I couldn't care less. Come on, Graham, get to the point.
Right, I'm just ringing to say, a friend of mine, Ernie, who I happen to share a house with, he came over from Ireland about 6 odd years ago, and he came over here with very little money and came straight over, got himself accommodation and a part-time job because he was at art college, and he you know, doesn't understand how people can just suddenly, you know, have, you know, nowhere to live when he can sort of...
Fine, good, OK. I thought we were going to get there somewhere in a few moments. Yeah? Do you like the new designer glasses? Do you think this is pretty me? Is this pretty, is it fashionable? It is it? Fashionable! Shut your mouth. Is it Ian from Newcastle? Is it Ian?
Hello?
Are you there?
Hello?
Wakey, wakey, Ian, wakey, wakey.
Hello, James.
Yes, what can we do for you?
Hello, James. Happy New Year, dear.
Thanks, Ian. Right, OK, let's go on to John in London. Thank you, John.
Hello, James.
Hi, John.
John from London, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a London cab driver, and I'd like to make a few points about what you've been saying about these so-called down-and-outs. I work nights as...
No, John, not so-called down-and-outs. These people we were talking... I thought we'd made the point. You know, we did talk to some people that quite enjoyed living on the street, but that could be for any reason. You get to a certain stage, you've got to make the most of it. The kids we talked about, and some of them in the studio here tonight, do not get a buzz out of living on the street, all right? So don't come and tell me, you know, from your rather warm, exciting place in a taxi cab about these so-called bums on the street. Alison in Chichester. Thank you, Alison.
Yeah, hi. We used to live in married quarters, and you get one hell of a lot of people moving out, and they leave married quarters empty for years. You know, I was on a camp that had about 100 married quarters that were empty. They do sell some of the married quarters off to service personnel, but like we were a young couple who thought, oh, this is a good idea. They wouldn't let us buy because you had to be 30.
Do you think what you saw on the show tonight's a little frightening? I mean, are you...
Yes, yeah, we've recently come out of the services, and we were actually classed as homeless, even though we were still living in the married quarter, but we were classed as trespassers because we were waiting for council accommodation.
Yeah.
Which, luckily, we now have. You know, we were on the list for...
And do you think when people talk like our last friend, the taxi driver, hope he doesn't pick me up later, do you think that they really ought to take 3 steps back and say, look, you know, there but for the grace of God, etc.?
You know, before I actually got married and everything,
OK, Alison, thank you for that. Sorry to cut you off. Time, of course. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Cheryl from the West Midlands. Hello, Cheryl. Cheryl?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, gosh, I can't hear you.
Well, I can hear you.
It's really, really faint.
Say what you've got to say.
OK. What I wanted to say was, I hope you don't get the hump with me, actually.
I might do.
But what I wanted to say was something no one else has commented on yet.
Yeah?
Was the fact that how smartly dressed the gentleman seemed to be that I saw on the screen.
Yeah, we made that point, and I think Des...
Oh, he's put me off.
No, I haven't cut you off. See? You're still on. You're not...
Put me off?
No.
Oh,
no.
You still got me on?
No, I have now, though. I have now. Hang on. Des made the point over here, all right, that you shouldn't find it difficult to keep yourself tidy living rough. Is that right?
Yes. It's difficult, obviously more difficult than if you're living in a home, but you've got to put a lot of effort in it. But by putting a lot of effort in it, you actually help yourself to survive, your self-respect to survive.
These guys over here, you're going back to sleep on the street tonight? You're going to sleep in a doorway on the street? Just think about that. Now, are we ready to go on to the final finale and a bit of a knees up for all these people doing it? OK, good, right. Now, I've got a piece to introduce. I went to the theatre last night. Now, that's an unusual role for me, and I saw a fantastic play musical experience at the Cambridge Theatre, The Forbidden Planet. You've got to go and see it. Here they are.
I never felt a passion so confused, so strange, outrageous, or so variable. My daughter. Oh, my child, my daughter, fled with the captain. That vile space wolf. Blow, winds, and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow. You cataracts and hurricanes spout. till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You sulphurous and thought-executing fires, strike flat the thick rotundity of this world, crack nature's molds, all germins spill at once that makes ingrateful man. I am a dad, more sinned against than sinning. Bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. Friends say I'm acting wild as a bug.
I'm in love.
Oh.
The members of the cast of Forbidden Planet join us next week live at 1 o'clock. Have a nice weekend from the whale. Goodbye. Goodbye!